Good evening, good people. Apologies for the late running of this show. Your girl wasn't feeling great and I had to sort myself out. Let me know. Talk of sorting myself out. Let's sort out this chair. Yeah, because this is... My throne has got to feel right. It's got to feel right, people. So, thank you for jumping on here. Thank you, Anna. Right, I think I feel balanced enough. Okay. Oh, my daughter did say it was hot in here. She was not joking, was she? Good evening, good people. Thank you, Kiru. Lovely to have you on here. Guys, as you join, just stick your name in there and let me know where you're watching from. That would be good. Okay, I'm going to have to log out of my Facebook on my laptop because for some reason everything's just popping up. And can't deal with that. So, hi, Anna. I am well. I'm very, very tired. I've had a very, very hectic weekend. Like from Friday, I've not stopped. I'll tell you about that in a second. Mami Oda, thank you for being on here. Guys, as you come on, invite somebody. Just type in a friend's name and just tag them. Or a guy that you know that maybe emotionally seems to be a little bit unavailable, whatever. Monica, thank you for being on here. And Denise, thank you, sis. Hi, Evelyn. How are you doing? Thank you, Ronald. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. Author Simon Metcalf, evening, Dilys, watching from South London. You from South? Wonderful. And my sister, Yemisi Parker, I know is watching from Ghana. Elizado says, Louise watching from London. Good evening to you. Hello, Kira. Oh, Kira said you watched me minister. Yes, I was ministering in church yesterday and this morning as well. Yeah, so if you guys want to check that out, it's on my page. Gwen is watching from Toronto. Nice. Sharon Duarjin, where are you watching from? Monica's watching from Birmingham. That's Grace. Hi, Embassy. And Author Simon said, just shared. Thank you so much. Guys, if you love me, now this is a bit of emotional blackmail here. If you love me, share. If you don't love me too, don't share. Efwa is watching from Ghana. I know that. How are you doing, my love? She always shares everything. I could cough and Efwa would share it for me. So learn, be like Efwa. Lavender Robinson, thank you from Devon. Lovely to have you on here. Shell. Q is watching from New York. Do you know what? The last time I was in New York was probably... How's Isabel? Isabel is 15. I would say the last time I was in New York is about 12 years ago. Guys, you need to invite me over. I've been dying to come to the States for years. When Trump was there, I just really weren't feeling it. But now that he's gone, yeah, I could do it to come to the States. Dina says, good topic. Thank you very much. Once I've settled in, I'm just highlighting some stuff because unfortunately I wasn't feeling too wonderful. But like I said, cancelling the show, I'd have to be at death's door. And I wasn't. So I thought, right, let me just get myself together and come and chat to my people. Because we have got work to do and we have conversations to have. So bear with me. And whilst I'm fidgeting about with this stuff, how are you guys doing? Show me some hearts if you're feeling good. If you're feeling a bit, then you can show me a care emoji. Type in what's wrong if you can. And let's just have a moment to get you aligned. Because as I've been sending out this live, I have had some people disclose to me that it's a very difficult topic for them to be engaged in. Other people said they don't even know if they'll be able to join. And I completely respect and understand that because the conversation that I have here, they aren't easy conversations. They are tough. But one thing that I am very proud of is this show is very kind in terms of there is no judgment here. And also you guys make the show because you are very supportive, very respectful. I don't believe I've ever had to delete a disparaging or disrespectful comment to anyone. In fact, people have commented about how nice you guys are to each other. Sometimes you come on, how is everybody doing? And you don't really see that on social media because people are just so damn rude. So thank you very much for the respect that you obviously show me and the respect you have for this platform and the respect you have for each other. So I am very grateful. And those of you that know me know that I don't take people or things for granted. So God bless you and thank you so much. Now I will give you my full undivided attention in a mo because this is how the devil works, you know. Now let's go to Ghana. Not work, so this is how the devil works. When I've taken my time to be typing everything very, very appropriately, I've done cut and paste, everything very respectable. Now I sit in front of the computer And the computer is now doing all sorts of things, putting one thing here, putting a letter here, putting a number here. Very, 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 very discouraging. But because there is God, I'll not fear anything. So on that note, don't be worried and don't be afraid. We are going to have a very, very interesting conversation, okay? Sometimes you have to understand the reason why I add comedy to some of the things I'm doing. What I'm going to be talking about is very, very, very tough. It's very tough. You have to dig very, very deep, So as a Ghanaian girl, I have to try my very best to make you feel at ease. Make everybody feel good. Relax yourself, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Wax on, wax off. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? So everybody just calm down. Calm down. It's going to be okay. If your mother didn't love you, don't worry, I love you. We'll talk about it with like good people. Don't worry about anything. So if you are liking what you are hearing so far, just share the life. Don't be a selfish brute. Okay? You come here every Sunday. I don't charge any money. Giving you free information. I could be charging thousands of pounds. I will come and sit here 1 hour. Sometimes I'm tired. And I will just be talking to you people free of charge. I will tell you share and you'll be looking at me like monkey. Are you mad? Share the video. Stop that. Wonderful people. I love you. Okay, Smokey. Now let us get the comedy out of the way. Now everybody is relaxed. You can be talking about your mother and be feeling okay. Okay? Wonderful. All right, people. We're all right? We doing all right? Okay. Lovely jubbly. This is what you can expect on Speak with Dilys, a live show on the 22nd of April, 2022 in the London Leonardo Royal Hotel. All right? Now you understand why I do what I do. Now you know why you love me, Yeah, see your head. Okay, people. Let's get this party started. Okay, so now that everybody's nice and relaxed, okay? Today's show, we are going to be speaking about... if you people are laughing free of charge, you haven't shared this video, I will wire you one slap from here, then I will now reply here. Share the video. Stop the nonsense. As I was saying. So, this is the 7th episode of Speak with Dilys. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I'm this crazy woman that lives in London. No, I'm not crazy. Well, I am. But I am a life coach, qualified and accredited. The areas that I specialize in is relationships, marriage. I do Christian coaching as well as grief coaching. And the areas that I speak about on my show. So when we talk of emotional stuff, it is vast and it is very wide. Thank you very much, Joa Prempe, for sharing. It's vast and it's very wide. So what you will hear me discuss here are things that you can contact me about privately, and they are symbolic and indicative of the areas in which I coach. So my name is Dilys. I was just about to tell you how old I was, but I'll probably tell you that as we go along anyway. But what I do is I'm an event host, life coach. I'm a best-selling author. What else do I do? I'm also a minister at New Glory Ministries in London. Thank you for sharing, Kabu and Anita. Thank you, lovely people. I do appreciate it. And Erica as well. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Marlene, if you cannot hear me, then I suggest you log off and log back in. Somebody type what Marlene should do, because everyone else seems to be able to hear me. So if she can't, somebody please type something in the comments. It's Marlene Frank to help her out so that she doesn't miss out. So that is what I do. I love what I do. I love speaking to people. I love being a support to people. I love being a minister. As a Christian woman, you will find a lot of what I incorporate in the things that I tell you comes from that place. However, my beliefs do not exclude anybody. What I will warn you is if you're looking for political correctness, you will not find it here. What you find here is the truth. I don't sugarcoat stuff. I'm very blunt. I am very plain. For some people it works. For those that it doesn't work for, God bless you. It's still all love. No hard feelings. So that is who I am. That's what I do. Very quickly, my last announcement, as I mentioned earlier, on the 22nd of April, this show is going to be launched live in London at the Leonardo Royal Hotel. There are tickets being sold. You can now go onto my webpage, dilyssilla.com. Really simple. It's my name, first name, second name.com. You can go on there where you can purchase your tickets. Okay. I think I have got all the boring bits out of the way. Excuse me, but I was so thirsty I had to do that. So let's read what we're going to be speaking about tonight. Nature tells us a mother carries a child and automatically loves her offspring, because that's the natural order of things. But we know this isn't always true. There are many mothers who despise their children for a number of reasons, from preferring other children to hating the fathers they conceived some children with. Growing up with what I call a present absent mother. Growing up with what I call a present absent mother can and often shape the very existence of their adult children. What effect does this have on you as a person, your relationships, your self-esteem, and how you see your value, worth, and existence? In this two-part episode, we are going to explore this phenomenon and the effects the rejection of a mother has on her son, an adult male. In a world of broken people, we have to stop being afraid of having honest conversations to help and to heal each other. It is going to hurt, but hopefully not for long. So join me for the 7th episode of Speak with Dilys, Access to Love Denied, Part 1. So thank you very, very much for being on here, guys. And the reason why I say it's Part 1, just so that we don't get distracted, Part 2 is going to be about mothers who hate and despise their daughters. So if you're all with me, you're all happy to be here and you understand what we're going to be speaking about, give me some love, show me some hearts, so that I know that we're all on the same page and it's, a good place for me to kick off and start going into things. I'm not seeing nothing. What are you people saying? Okay. Right, hold on. I'm just seeing a lot of laughing faces. I wonder why. Okay, so let me just go through and greet some of you guys. Great, lovely seeing the hearts. I'm not seeing, a lot of you haven't shared. When you share, please do put it in the comments box so that I can acknowledge and say thank you, because I do appreciate it. Or if you tag a friend. Denise says, good morning, says, babe, it's 8 something in the evening. Let's see. And where are you guys watching from? Do post that in the comments box. Sass, my wonderful lady from the States. She's so beautiful. She does the most amazing write-ups on top of my write-ups. I'm so grateful to you. Thank you so much. And where in the States are you from, sweetheart? Let me know. Afalabi, thank you so much. Let's see, because I did see a few comments before. I want to, go into this in a second. Eric says, hi, Dilys, watching from Cheshire. Lovely, thank you. And Evelyn is watching from Ealing. Thank you. Sharon, I'm watching from Bethesda in Maryland. Oh, nice. Nice. Dina, thank you. She said good topic. Yeah, it's a very deep topic, to be honest. And I hope that this is going to be very helpful to a lot of people. Twix, thanks for being on here. Gloria as well. Monica Martini Jenkins says, sharing to my group, live the life you love. Thank you so much. Angelina, thank you as well. There are so many of you on here now. It's going to be difficult for me to acknowledge all of you, but Ekria Sakuria, thank you for being on here. And Anita again, who always shares. Afolabi says, I look good. Thank you so much. Can't you see today? There's no eyeshadow. You know why? Because I'm tired. I was like, you know what? The powder and the lipstick, if you look at my eyes, you can tell that I'm really tired. But, no, I'll do eyeshadow for you next week. Don't worry. Next week I'll look pretty, okay? Don't worry about that. Okay, so guys, let's get this party started. Thank you for everyone that's... Oh, somebody's messaging, watching from the Czech Republic. That will be a first. So thank you so much for being on here. Wonderful. And thank you for all those that have shared. Mariama, Caroline, Pedro. Thank you. Reese's watching from Luton. Okay, guys. Thank you for sharing, Evelyn. Let's get started. So this is the conversation that we're going to be having. And again, if you have watched my shows before, the reason why I do these shows is because I feel that there are conversations that are very important that we don't have, that we should have. And, this is just a safe space created for us to be able to talk about those unspoken things. Where else are you going to have this conversation about why women hate their sons, the effects it's had on their sons, and how we can help these men move forward? You're not going to get these kind of conversations anywhere. And most of the time, they're either regurgitated or they're not authentic. If it's authenticity that you're looking for, you would most definitely find it on the Speak with Dilys show. That one, I can tell you. Like I said, I don't do political correctness. I do the truth, and I will tell you what I believe in my spirit and in my heart will set you free and will help you. So I won't sit here and just follow a trend because it's a popular opinion or way to say and do things. Nah, not here. I wanted to speak about this because, as usual, I get my inspiration when I'm praying and when I have conversations with people, and the kind of conversations that we have. and the amount of limited information out there, not only to help people in certain situations, but what I've noticed that people do not even recognize what the root of their problem is. So when we are in an environment or in a relationship, or we are existing and we are facing certain problems, or we have certain characteristics that we don't understand, all we know is that we are either not happy, or there is a repetition of problems in our relationships, in our workplaces, with our kids, with our whatever, spouses. That's why I have these conversations. Because there's a phrase in the Bible that says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. That's just not a Christian phrase. That's for everybody. The secular equivalent to that is knowledge is power. So my people perish for lack of knowledge. Knowledge is power. And because people lack knowledge, and because they do not know where to gain knowledge, they perish and they become disempowered. So I'm marrying the secular and the Christian. They perish and they become disempowered because they do not have knowledge and information. So people are suffering, I would say needlessly, because they lack that information and they are disempowered. This is where you gain information and become empowered on the Speak with Dilys show. There are so many different types of shows I could be doing. I'm a funny girl. I could be doing comedy and making you laugh for an hour, and trust me, I'll be going viral. I could be doing a bitch fest on, 101 reasons to hate men. Broken women love all that stuff, and I would be trending. But for me, my calling and my heart's desire is to see people healed such that they can move forward and be the best version of themselves that they can be. That their experiences that they have had in their childhood does not dictate who they have to be in their adulthood. Why? Because life is too short. I am 50 years of age, and I am telling you, burying a husband at the age that he was, I'm telling you, life is too short. So for me, in my latter half of life, for me, I can't afford not to enjoy this life. And I want that for each and every one of you that watches this show. It is important to me that you are able to be empowered by the things that you hear, and that the experiences that you have had do not shape you. They should shape you, but for a little while, but not for too long, not indefinitely. So guys, if you're watching this and you know anybody that is broken, I want you to share this on your timeline, or just type in a name and let's have the conversation. So that is why I do this show, and that's why we're having this conversation today. Now, one of the things that I looked at, and you know me, I will go and read because I love reading, and I will do my research, is that I looked at what, and for those of you watching from Canada, Sarah Bruni, thank you for being on here, my darling. I saw Chris Tuck's name pop up. Chris, love to have you on here. And Kofi Hamilton as well. Welcome, 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 lovely people. And Sharon, how are you doing? It's good to have you guys on here. And I appreciate you guys too greatly. I'm adoring. Thank you. So one of the things that I first looked at was the social structures that we are born into. Now, nature tells us, or society tells us, that a mother has her child, and from having her child, she automatically is filled with love. We know that that is not always true. Even if you take this outside of the context of women who hate their children, there is postnatal or postpartum depression. So in terms of feelings being automatic, to a degree, it is a myth. Oh, hi, Emmy from Nigeria. How are you doing? And Faye as well. It is a myth that you naturally feel love towards your child. That is not always a natural disposition for every woman. Obviously, when you're suffering from postpartum depression, that is slightly different, but I just wanted to make the point that feelings are not automatically automatic. But you see, when you have a structure and a society that says mothers automatically love their children, when you are the child of a mother who did not or does not automatically love you, the burden of proof falls on you, the child, to prove your mother doesn't love you, as opposed to the mother having to prove that she does. So I'll repeat that. The burden of proof is on you, the child, or in this case, the son, to prove that your mother doesn't love you, as opposed to the mother having to prove that she does, because society has already given her a get out of jail free card. And that is why when we read and hear stories of mothers who have done atrocious, diabolical things to their children, it's like, oh, how could a woman do that to her child? But why not? Because there is nothing that is automatic that says, I mean, there are even some animals that eat their young. There is nothing that says she must. So where you have a situation where a son is born to a mother who did not naturally love him or didn't love him, where does he go to be able to express that rejection? The fact is, I would say with great difficulty. With great difficulty. Because one, you become disempowered by that admission in your mind. I'm not saying that if a man came to me and said my mother didn't love me, I'd look at him and think, oh, grow up and don't be such a wimp. I personally wouldn't. But society would. And I'm saying that when you have the social structure set up in that way, where does a man go to be able to even recognize that these issues that he is suffering from is a direct result of the rejection that he faced as a male child or as a son of his mother? Where does he go? Because one of the things that we also have to look at is the fact that I was reading this on, I think it was Psychology Today. And I'll give you a little bit of background as to why I did this. I put here background. When a man, okay, I'll come back to that. Let me read this thing on attachment. Because what I was saying is that a son or any child learns about attachment because that's natural for the child. It is more natural for a child to love their parent than it is for a parent to love their child. And I'm talking about a child baby, not a child that gets to a certain age where you've done them wrong and they learn the emotion of hatred. But I'm saying that as a child, as a little child, as a baby, naturally there's that love there. Because there is nothing, the world has not been able to contaminate that child, neither has the experiences that is being projected onto the child been able to contaminate that child for the child to feel anything other than love for their parent. So attachment, I'll read this. Attachment is the emotional bond that forms between infant and caregiver, and it is the means by which the helpless infant gets primary needs met. That's normally by the mother, okay? It then becomes an engine of subsequent social, emotional, and cognitive development. The early social experience of the infant stimulates growth of the brain. A lot of this stuff is scientific and can have an enduring influence on the ability to form relationships with others. Attachment provides the infant's first coping mechanism or system. It sets up a mental representation of the caregiver in an infant's mind, one that can be summoned up as a comforting mental presence in difficult moments, or the opposite. Attachment allows an infant to separate from the caregiver without distress and begin to explore the world around him or her. Neuroscientists believe that attachment is such a primal need that there are networks of neurons in the brain dedicated to setting it in motion in the first place, and the hormone oxytocin that fosters the process. Like I said, some of this stuff, all of this stuff is scientific. It is scientific as it is spiritual, as it is emotional, as it is mental. And depending on what it is that you have experienced, it will take residence in any one or all of these areas for you to have to explore, be able to identify where it is settling so that you can be delivered from it. So as I'm saying, this stuff is scientific as it is spiritual, as it is mental, as it is emotional. You need to find out where your experience has settled so you are able to be delivered from it and be able to live your best life and be healed. Again, I am still giving background. I hope I don't have to go into a part 2 of this because time has kind of gone a little bit. So I've gone into the structure and the way things have been set up that makes it difficult for men to be able to express the rejection that they faced by their mothers. Now, what I wrote down here, and it's funny because when I pray and when I do my research and I write my stuff, When I go back to do my research, I find that scientifically, that which I have caught a revelation from is backed up. Now, what I just read here, the first thing I put down, the second point I put down was it is a mother that teaches a son how to love and defines love because she is the first woman that that son would have had interaction with. They define, we mothers define what love is to a son. We define it. What happens is the father validates it. Like I've said, if you're looking for political correctness, don't come on my show. Don't come here because I will give you the truth. I am talking about the ideal because this is the ideal. And from the evidence, even scientifically, of the effects of not having the ideal, this is some of the problems that we have here. A lot of times what we do is we have to make do with what we've got. So for example, I'm a single parent. I'm a single parent because my husband died. Okay? Ideally, this should not be a one-parent household. There are certain things that my child will not be able to enjoy because she is from a single parent household. That does not mean I would not be doing my best as a single parent. The problem we have in this world nowadays is you can't correct anybody. Everybody is so precious about their status and maintaining an identity that is often to the detriment of somebody else. It is not an insult to say there's something that your child may lack because they come from a single parent household. My child is from a single parent household. She knows what it's like to be from a two-parent household, and for the reason due to bereavement is from one. So I have to find ways to be able to cushion that deficit because there is a deficit of sorts. And if I am not able to come out of my own pride and my own ego to address the deficit, then there is a problem. Then there is a problem that my child will have in being able to fill that deficit. That is when we have a world of broken people. So again, if you're looking for political correctness, you are on the wrong show because it ain't going to happen here. That's just that's just what it is. So when I'm saying that it's a mother that teaches her son how to love, how she loves is what allows love to make sense to that male child. I've just read from Psychology Today about attachment. And scientifically, this is what it's saying. Cognitive ability. What else did it say about attachment? Allows your child to be present, stimulates the brain, allows them to be socially aware and able to function socially. These are all the things that you can enjoy when you have been able to be brought up by a caregiver that is exactly doing that, giving you care and giving you love. Neuroscientists are saying that it's a primal need and that there are neurons in your brain dedicated to setting it in motion in the first place and hormones that foster the process. It's scientific. So now that we have established that, that is backing up my statement saying it's the mother that teaches the son how to love because generally speaking, she is the one that manages the child from birth to whenever they go to school, nursery, or what have you. That mother stamps the identity of that child. The father is the one who confirms it. Because often when we speak about rejection, when it comes to parents, we think of father and son, mother and daughter. We don't think of it that way. We don't think of it as mother and son. It is generally unheard of that it's assumed that because a mother naturally loves her child, when it comes to her sons, that's why we have the term mummy's boy. But sometimes mummies hate their boys. Guys, if you're watching this, please do share. And when you do post it in there so that I can acknowledge and thank you. So because we don't have that conflict, or we don't see that conflict as being a common thing, we have no real provision that is out there for our men to be able to access it. Now, when you have a man who is brought up by a woman who hates him, a woman that does not love her child. You see, love is a doing word. Love is action. You can't claim to love somebody and not do something. Likewise, when you don't love somebody, you are doing something. And in that doing, that person is receiving and they're understanding. So when you have a son and you are actively showing your son that you do not love him, the attachment that he should experience as a child, to be able to excel socially, for his brain to be able to function properly, and his emotions to be able to work properly, they become stunted as well as retarded. So where he should get that validation from the mother of who he is, his identity, knowing that he is loved and he is valued, he grows up with a huge void in his life. That is the first experience that he has of mistrust. Because the one that is assumed that society and the whole world says would love you unconditionally despises you. So you are dealing with the rejection in terms of love. Guys, please share this if you're watching this. You are dealing with the rejection of your mother in terms of love. And you are also having to manage, trust being broken. Because a child automatically trusts their parent. You could be the worst parent on earth. You would have to mess up with your kids time and time and time and time again before your child realizes mummy's like this. Because that's the heart of children. Their hearts are so pure and so loving that evil isn't there. They don't know how to process evil. And that is why it has such a huge impact on us as children and why we struggle in adulthood, because we are being put in a position to manage something that we were never designed for. And I want to keep on focusing on the men. So when you have a man who's rejected by his mother, he now has issues with trust. Now, if you have issues with trust, would it not be safe to say that a man that has issues with trust will automatically have issues with commitment? Now, you see, I wanted to talk about this topic twofold, looking at the men and how they show up so that they can understand why they have the issues with commitment that they have. And the women who love such men, or the women who are married to such men, can have a deeper understanding of what is going on with these men, because they don't understand it. They don't understand it. And so therefore, with you who is gaining knowledge, you are able to break down that knowledge in a way that that man can understand. I'm going to give you an example of something. It just popped into my head, and I'm going to maybe change the story. Well, I'm not going to change the story, but I would try and say it in a way where, the identity of this person wouldn't be known. There was somebody that I was speaking to some time ago, and this person had an issue with work. And I was speaking to the person's spouse, and I was saying that it's not that this person doesn't want to work. They have got some emotional issues that I believe has impacted on their emotional health. And therefore, they are not able to commit into doing this thing as you would want them to. And I gave them the example. I said, you have a real phobia of snakes. This person has a real serious snake phobia. And I said, imagine that you have your newborn baby in your arms, you're not giving off any milk, and your child is starving, and the only place you can get that milk is in that room full of snakes. You've got a crying baby, you've got your phobia, you've got a solution in that room. How easy would it be for you to enter that room and retrieve that bottle? I said, now, with that in mind, your spouse who is struggling in being able to do this thing, that is the level of fear that's attributed to what it is that you want them to do, they themselves would like to do, but can't do. Now, I'm giving you this example just to break down the fear of commitment, or the inability to commit some of these men have as a result of the rejection of their mothers. Because that's where they learnt it from. They've not been able to make the correlation that the reason why I'm not able to commit is because my mother rejected me. Because, one, you don't just know these things, otherwise I wouldn't have a job. Therapists would not exist, counselors, coaches, we would all not exist. Because people need help to be able to identify a problem that they have lived with for the past 30, 40, 50, 60 and above years. It's not that easy. And because of how the brain works in regards to trauma, our brain compartmentalizes so that we can cope with everyday life. Especially men. I'm very masculine in that regard. I really do compartmentalize a lot. Not always to my benefit. Well, that's debatable. Okay, so when you have a person or a man that's gone through that situation, what he's doing is avoiding his trauma. He doesn't even understand his trauma because he's a man. And what do men do? Men are strong, men are powerful, men don't feel emotions, men don't do this. I'm giving you the stereotype and the cliches here. So he goes through life as the man. Can't commit, can't show vulnerability, or overcommit and overshows vulnerability. There is no regulator of the emotions. His emotional thermostat, the button is broken. He hasn't the ability to regulate it. So when you are in a relationship with such a man, what I would ask you to do is you need to start checking the root. Look at his relationship with his mother. Don't go overboard. I'm not saying try and become psychoanalyst. I'm just saying maybe ask some questions so that it may give you an indicator. If you can see that he is born to a mother, and I'm talking specifically about mothers who hate their sons because they show up differently from mothers who are overbearing or mothers who are just toxic. There are distinct differences. It's like when I was running my charity, raising awareness on rape, child abuse, domestic violence, and people would say, it's not just in the black community, it's also in the white community. Wonderful for you. But there are different enablers of different types of abuses. Get that? There are different enablers of different types of abuses. And depending on the environment and the community and society that you come from, it allows people to be able to operate at different levels of abuse because of those environments. So for example, if you come into the African, the structure of things is when it comes to your mother, she's next to God, even above your father. How then do you open your mouth and say, my mother was evil towards me? This is what my mother did to me. No, like I said in the very beginning, the onus is on you, the child or the adult male, to prove that your mother was wicked, as opposed to your mother having to prove that she loved you, because society has given her a free pass. Guys, I will read your comments in a second. So that attachment issue that the man was unable to experience positively with your mother is a detachment in your adulthood in terms of relationships. Think about it. If your mother, who was supposed to love you, rejected and maltreated you, it means that you are unlovable. That's what you tell yourself. Somewhere in your subconscious, that's what you think. And so therefore, the easiest way to be able to cushion that blow is to stop yourself from loving, so that way you can manage whatever hurt and disappointment that may come your way as a result of that rejection. The process of being able to sit there and saying, I was rejected by the one person that was supposed to love me, is hard. Because often that admission and realization doesn't just come as a standalone statement. You now have a whole spectrum of different instances that confirmed again and again and again and again and again that your mother did not love you. The wickedness, the insults, the abuse, all those things then begin to form and shape this human being that should have been built up but was torn down. And it takes a lot to be able to sit there and admit and say, this is what happened. I was very proud of somebody in one of the groups I'm in. There must be over 200 people in that group. And this person said, if I begin to tell you my story, he said, I will get emotional, so I'm not going to speak. And I said, brother, speak. 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 We have to come to a place where we can speak about these things. We have to start to talk about these things. Because if we don't, how old am I? I'm 50. you've got men, my age, younger than me, older than me, that have gone through life having never really spoken about this issue or problem that they have had. And obviously, if nature does the right thing and their mothers die before them, they're supposed to show up at this funeral and, or even arrange it and pay for it, and behave in a way that really would be truer to somebody that was loved by their mother. And you see, the reason why these things are so important, that we do it now, that we start to get healing now, is that when these people go, if we don't address these issues and get our healing, they take a piece of us with them. It's more difficult because you don't have the person to rant at. You don't have the ability to say you hurt me. You don't have the ability to speak your truth. So you become stifled and stunted in that space. And it forms another form of rejection. I mean, grief, when you lose a loved one, you feel rejected, you know. It's an emotion that, you know, quite a valid emotion that you go through. But when you're in a situation where your mother has rejected you throughout your whole life and then dies on you, it is difficult to be able to manage. And what I'm saying is, get in there and do the work so that you are in control. You are in control. Pay attention to the relationships, ladies, as I said, that these men have with their mothers. It will tell you a lot. If you're sensible and level-headed and you're able to read the situation well. You see, I'm trying to think whether I should share this or not. Should I, shouldn't I, should I, shouldn't I? Okay, I'm going to share it this way. I know somebody who was not brought up by their parents, but they were brought up by an uncle and aunt. The uncle apparently was an absolutely wonderful human being. And this person spoke very, very highly of his uncle. It just dawned on me after many years that they never really spoke about their aunt. And so I said, one day, you know, we were just having a conversation. I said, you always speak about your uncle. What about your aunt? And the answer I got was very matter of fact. Oh, my aunt had her favorites. And it was left there, and I instinctively responded, and you weren't one of them. And immediately in my spirit, I perceived that she was a very wicked woman. Now, you know, you guys, you may get to know me a little bit and know that I am somebody who is very spiritual. But on a serious note, in my spirit, I perceived this woman to be very wicked. And I actually said to this person, I said, that's because your aunt was very wicked. And this gentleman didn't say anything. I learned something there. And that's why when I was preparing for this, I thought that's something else to look out for. When your friend or your husband, as we're talking about relationships, or your partner is constantly talking about the male figure in their life, even though there was a female there, but never speaks of the female, that's your red flag for them. That is an indicator that this person did not get the nurturing love, care, and kindness that they needed from the mother figure or from the mother. Very telling. And you know, when I looked back at this person, there were certain things that made sense in terms of what was manifesting in their relationships. And I think I actually said to him one day, I said, you know what? I really do think that you need to address your childhood. If you address your childhood, you will find the peace that you don't have in your own marriage by addressing who you were as a child and accepting that rejection of the person that was supposed to be your mother. as well as your mother. Because like I said, this gentleman lived with his aunt and uncle, not with his mother and father. So there already was a sense of rejection of sorts. But unfortunately, going to live with a mother figure that was not really a mother had a profound effect. Considering, I think he said to me that he lived with his aunt and uncle from the age of about 5. A very, very tender and crucial age. An age where every little boy, and we're talking about boys here, so let's not, women, please don't jump up. Say women too, because I find it really irritating. But every little boy needs that hug of his mum. Every little boy needs that. And when you're deprived of that, and what replaces that is I can't stand you. And you see, I've seen this happen a lot, where a lot of women hate their eldest son. Like I said, we're speaking about men here, and I'll explain something to you. Sometimes, I came across a story, again, when I was doing my research, and this person was saying that they were the eldest son, and the mother was just downright evil, would beat him, would do all sorts of things. And I think one day she went too far, and the dad came from work, and he went upstairs to see his son and realized the son was in a bad way, and made the mum go up to him and apologize. And the mum said, "Don't think I'm apologizing to you because I'm sorry. I'm only apologizing to you because your dad said it. And don't think that I love you. I'm just doing it because I had to. And if it wasn't for you," listen to this, guys, "if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be married to your dad." So let me break something down to you. Some of us women who call ourselves mothers find ourselves, bear with me here, in situations where we are either coerced or forced, and it happens, to marry men that we don't want to be married to in our youth. Because I've seen this, it's very characteristic of women in certain parts of the world where they are, for whatever reason, normally, economic reasons, where they're married off or encouraged to marry sometimes older men or not, but they are encouraged to marry before they want to be, and they have their first child. Now, where that first child is supposed to be symbolic of a new era, that child becomes symbolic of the end of their youth, okay? That child becomes symbolic of the end of their youth. Guys, please help me out here and do share this video. A lot of our men need to hear this. So please don't keep this to yourself. If you're watching, please share, yeah? That child becomes symbolic of, to that woman, of the end of their youth. So where they cannot exhibit their frustration and anger of being tied down to the person that made them pregnant, or the person that they're married to, or the person that they are now tied to, guess who they take it out on? Yours truly. They take it out on the child, because the child can't fight back. So the child, that little boy, becomes the emotional punching bag of the mother. That child becomes the cushioning of every negative emotion that she feels towards the father, that she's able to project onto the son. Can you imagine, just for a moment, just imagine what that feels like for that child to know that they're not only not wanted, but they are hated and despised by another person whom they love unconditionally. Because remember, in the beginning I was saying that children are automatically wired to love unconditionally until you do something to destroy that love. Can you imagine how divided that child feels and how confused they feel? Well, those are the men, the children that grow up into the men that we fall in love with and we marry and we don't understand. And so I say time and time again that this show is done so that we can have conversations that we would not normally have, to bring people the information that they don't have so that you can use it. Knowledge is power. My people perish for lack of knowledge. Yes, So when you watch my show, I am a Christian woman. If I feel like praying, I will pray. Like I said, I don't do political correctness here. If you feel that prayer offends you, bye-bye. But I'm very balanced. For those of you that are Christian, I will satisfy you. For those of you who are of a different faith, I will satisfy you. For those of you who are of no faith, I love you too, and we have that conversation. And I said in the beginning, you have the lack of that knowledge and that ignorance is what allows this situation to take residence in our spirit, in our soul, in our mind, in our bodies, in our emotions, and we are not able to get help because we are not able to articulate what the problem is. In fact, we're not able to even identify, because before articulation must come identification. Yes, before solution. So we need to be able to identify, then we can articulate, and then we can find a solution. So these 3 steps is what's required. Princess, thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate that. That is what you need to do. Because if you don't have that knowledge, a lot of us women are frustrated. And I spoke last week, if you remember, me and my water. I spoke about the capacity to love. A man's capacity to love is dependent on how much love he has available to give in terms of his own personal capacity. And I think that day I drank a bit of water, so let me use my glass. So I'll give this illustration again, where I was talking about a man's capacity to love, and that if a man's capacity to love is, his full capacity is here, yeah? This is not good because the water is shaking, right? Yeah. If his capacity to love is where the line of this water is, his full capacity, but he's loving you here. As far as he is concerned, he loves you a hell of a lot. What he doesn't realize is that he is not loving you to the full capacity, which is actually to the top of this glass. Between here and there is all the trauma that he has been through, that he needs to work through in order for this to rise to here. So whilst your capacity to love as a woman is here and his is down here, there is an automatic mismatch and a inability to understand each other because you're not coming from the same place. You, the woman, are feeling unfulfilled. The man is feeling frustrated because as far as he's concerned, he really loves you. In fact, every other woman he is loved down here. So when he's loving you here, for him, he thinks he's arrived. What he doesn't know, he has missed this whole part out. The capacity to love. Maybe I need to write a book on that. So the reason why these conversations are important is so that we can start to restore our families from a point of knowledge and power. Some of us, we sit there with our spouses, our partners and boyfriends, what have you, and we're trying to have a conversation of healing and progression. It's not happening. Why? Because there hasn't been identification, for there to be articulation, for there to be solution. They don't know. All they know is that they are operating in what they deem to be their full capacity, and they're nowhere near there. That's why Speak with Dilys exists. That's why we have these conversations. So going back to this issue of the eldest son, as to why some sons face this, is because the mothers that have them feel that they are symbolic of something very negative in their lives. Now, instead of these women to also go to their closet and deal with what life has dealt, to them, they take it out on that child because they don't know better or they don't want to do better. This show is not about the mothers, so I'm not going to go too much on what their issues are, because for me, I am dedicated to my men today. I'm here for the men this evening, and it's all about you tonight. And I'm going to go on to speak about how do we manage to overcome this very bitter and painful experience of that rejection. The other one, which I have also come across quite a bit, is where the son is unfortunate enough to look like his father. It sounds so basic, but I am telling you, there are many women that hate their son because they hate the father with whom they had the child with. I can never understand a woman having such level of pain. I've never hated anyone in my life, so maybe I'm not the best person to ask. But and I'm being honest, I've never hated anyone in my life. I've had people annoy the hell out of me, but that emotion of hatred, I've never felt it. So it's not something that I can identify with in that sense. And, I'm just being honest here. But there are women that have that capacity to hate, sometimes because maybe the father of that child really disappointed them. For whatever that reason may be, like I said, this is not about the Mother's Day, it's about the sons. And that because of that hatred, once again, everything is projected onto that child as if the child is the father. It's a lot for a child to carry. It is a hell of a lot for the child to carry. So it is very difficult for any child to have to live that. And you see, it's funny because my son looks exactly like his dad. Like there's no difference. And, it wasn't the greatest of relationships by any stretch of the imagination. But that part of me, in fact, there were times where I'd be talking to my son and I'd burst out laughing. I'd say, oh my God, you so look like your dad. And we would laugh and he'll be like, yeah, I know. And we would laugh about it. But for another person, it is a source of great offense. Why it's like that, I don't know, because my brain doesn't work like that. I am only just giving you the information as to what it is. Okay, let me read some of your comments. Let me go back. There's so many of them. Okay, let me see how far. Oh God, how far I have to go back. Okay, Denise says, some mothers may not love a child because the child may look like an individual whom she despises. Bingo! See, there you go. It's a fact. Okay. Most commonly, his father. There you go. Nadia Fofana, thank you for being on here. I don't recognize your names. If you're new, lovely having you. Raz Kotaka, thank you for being on here. I see you were invited by my beautiful sister, Sarah. Thank you, Sarah, for doing that. Let's see. Kaylee, thank you for being on here as well. Okay, let me scroll up and see what comments are here. Helena says, yes, I'm so right. Ahmed Kadra, thank you for being on here. Nanaya Dufie, thank you for being on here as well. James Owusu, thank you. Erica Rosina Aisha Tazi said, if the mother teaches her son how to love and she doesn't know how to love, how can he love? Absolutely. How can he indeed? Anita Will, thank you for being on here. Rita Senea, how are you doing, my lovely? And Benita Bradley from the States, Miss Dimple, she's so pretty. Thank you for being on here. Senior Ahmed, thank you for being on here. Fatimata Kali as well. Samuel Opoku, Teresa Jesse, thank you for being on here. Now, let me read another comment. Lavender Robinson says, my mother has created a heroin addict for a son due to her physical and sexual abuse of him. No one wants to acknowledge mothers sexually abusing their child. As I said, when it comes to a mother, there is that natural assumption that she loves her child, and we know that that is not always the case. Shirley Ann says, Shirley Ann is here, thank you very much. Rosie Cobbiner as well. Gloria says, dating such men is difficult. Yes, it's difficult, but the point of fact is we don't know that they are the such men. All we know is that they are men who are not committing, who are emotionally retarded, who may be emotionally abusive, who are very angry, who, excuse me, are not able to commit. I don't know if I've mentioned that, but we don't know why. And you see, what I do with these shows is I've done so many different shows on different things that brings us back to the same point, which is really the root of the issue. So that when you look at yourself, you watch these videos, excuse me, or you are dating somebody or you're married to somebody, you'll be able to identify that, hold on, that sounds like John. That sounds like Peter. That sounds like whoever. And then you can start to educate yourself in what would be the best way to be able to deal with John, knowing that this is the issue. How am I able to engage John in a conversation that is non-confrontational, that is sensitive and shows that I understand? Don't use the information. Don't abuse the information that you find. That's not what it's for. It's not for you to, and I don't know why I'm saying this. Ladies, fire of God will thunder you all. If you use this kind of information as a source of insult to your husband or to your partner because you're angry. I don't know what made me say that. What I share is not for you to go and be abusive to your husband, to your boyfriend, to your brother. That's not what it's for. It's for us to be able to be more sensitive and more loving and more understanding to help people to a place of healing. That's what this information is for. God punish you if you use it for anything other than what it was intended for. I'm not joking, actually. I'm deadly serious. Because a lot of times, the men don't want to open up because of the manner in which some of the way we women respond to their vulnerability. It's not helpful. It just goes to show a gross level of immaturity and stupidity. We should feel very honored when anybody identifies us as somebody that they want to confide in. What you never do is use somebody's pain as a rod to beat them with just because you need to point score in an argument. In fact, if you feel the need to do that, then I think you also need to have some coaching and some counseling to be able to identify why you would even go there. And I'm clearly saying this for a reason. What I discuss here is to help people heal, not help them to be further victimized, hurt, and humiliated. So please, that is my disclaimer on that one. If you were thinking about it, don't even go there. Okay, Derek Abaje, thank you for being on here. Lavender says, Helena, sad but true. Oops. Oh, it's dropped because I think a few of you were commenting. Sorry. Let me see if I can find that. If I can't, okay. EMC said, this is deep and heartbreaking, so much pain. It is, it really, really is. Afolabi says, word, Nana, Akosia, thank you for being on here, and Diana Melrose. Afolabi says, touchy but true, Lady D, about hating the first son. I am in the middle. Okay, so I'm sure you've seen some stuff. Adrian Breams, thank you for being on here. Erica says, Rosina, oh, you've just tagged some people. Thank you very, very much. First time commenting is not about my own issue. Thank you, Suave. I don't know where your comment is, but I can see one comment by Erica, and I'm going to read that out. It says, she divorced her husband, so my husband was brought up by her, but mainly his grandmother. So my husband never really got to know his father. Obviously, I've missed a conversation earlier than that, so please do repost if you can. Lavender says, men are told to man up and not speak up. Yes, it's horrible. And it's not a way I brought up my son. And I really do encourage men to speak. I mean, I love men, you know, because of all the work I do as an activist. People have this natural thing that, oh, you're a man hater because you're a feminist. No, real feminists love men. Let me tell you that now. Real feminists know the value of men and their place in the lives of women. That's what real feminists are. But sometimes, you know, people, you know, don't get their definitions right and then they run with it like they're talking sense. Okay, so William says, hi William, how are you doing? He says, how does one measure love though? What is the metric for measuring love? The metric for measuring love is how good it makes you feel. That's the metric of measuring love. If it don't feel good, it ain't love. It's so simple. The metric for measuring love is how does it make you feel? If you feel secure, you feel safe, you feel heard, you feel appreciated, you feel valued, and you feel seen, that's the metric for measuring love. If you feel pain, humiliation, unseen, unheard, physically hurt, emotionally hurt, spiritually hurt, mentally hurt, then that's not love. Erica says, yes, the capacity to love. Princess Goddess says, identification before articulation, before solution. Absolutely. Let's see what else you're saying. Afolabi says, a lot of first male children have problems. I am not one, but seen a lot in firstborn male child. Yeah, If you see, when I have these kind of conversations, it's just for us to be observant. I'm not saying come and agree with me. I don't really care whether you agree with me or not, because I know where I'm going. I know what I've learned. I know how these things have changed my life and how it's changing the lives of others. Agreement is not what I look for here. For me, I just give you information. Do with it what you will. Knowledge is what? Power. If you don't have knowledge, you are disempowered. But at least have the knowledge so you can decide which bits you like, which bits you don't like. Ignorance hates knowledge. Ignorance is when you think you know it all. Look, I do this for a living, yet there isn't a single week that I will come and sit in front of you guys that I do not read, that I do not do research, that I do not even go back to revalidate that which I know to be factual. I will still go and read more. Why? So I gain more knowledge. The more knowledge I gain, the more I can come and give of myself to y'all. Okay? So, Shirley Ann said, this is a very touchy subject. Yeah, it is. Yemisi, my sister Parker Osei says, I personally know a young man whose mum despises him because he looks like his father. She and his father had an awful and toxic relationship. This young man has been able to surmount the odds from the fallout, but this topic has really opened it up. It's a terrible thing when your mother hates you, you know. I have seen so many, it's a terrible thing. And you cannot understand how it's possible. And these men are always great men. They are always great men. And you see, and when you despise your son and become the creator of his failure, and then have the audacity to point your finger and say he's a failure, shame on you. Shame on you. Because you are the author of his failing. You are the author of his destruction. Shame on you. So for the women that have inherited these men, I pray that you have the strength, the wisdom, the compassion, and the grace to help them to heal. Hear me out. I am not talking about going to find one broken man that's going to drag you down. I'm saying if you are already attached to such a man, you're married to him or whatever, and you are able to identify the source of his problem, and you have good communication, then it is up to you to have that conversation, to bring him to that place of identification, articulation, solution, because it can be done. Guys, if you're watching this, please share. Shirley Ann says, if a man doesn't identify the root problem, he will not be able to get the help he needs. It's exactly that. But you see, sometimes, isn't there a saying in our language, in Chi, that it's the person that is standing behind you that can tell you that the line you've drawn is crooked? I repeat, it's the person who stands behind you that can tell you that the line you've drawn is crooked. You're drawing that line, you don't know it ain't straight. Yeah? But by the person standing behind that is in a better position to see can tell you that this thing is a little bit crooked. The men don't know. The person going through doesn't know. Look, there is something that I call emotional process mapping. And I do this with my clients. And those of you that used to attend my rewriting history workshops, what I do is I have my clients identify maybe the last 3 relationships that they had and look at the common trend, because there will be a trend there. And the questions that I ask is, how did you meet? What did your relationship look like when you were together with this person? And why did it end? I am guaranteeing you, you will find a common denominator. That's where you need to do the work. So I'm letting you into a bit. People pay me for this stuff. I'm giving it to you. Listen, I give you my content for free every Sunday. I've even been told, I'm going to be honest with you, I have been told to stop doing this show, or to stop sharing the level of content I share in this show. To maybe share like 10 minutes and have a private group where it's paid. What I am giving you is not cheap. It costs me thousands to train. It costs me even more in life experiences. I repeat, it costs me thousands to train. It cost me even more in life experiences. You think I didn't learn something when I buried a husband? You really think I didn't? You think I didn't learn something when I was being sexually harassed in the office? You think I didn't learn something when I was running Who Will Hear My Cry and listening to stories of 2-year-olds being raped anally and bleeding to death? You think, yeah, I had to throw that in there. You know what it's cost me? And people say to me, why are you giving this content for free? You know why? Because it is my calling and it's my ministry. And it is important for me that people are able to find help and solution. It is not all about money. I will not die a poor woman. I will not die a poor woman. But there's certain information that when I look around within my community, when I look around even on social media, when I look even around my friends, I'm like, there is information that you need that's in my mouth. I need to release it for you. Miles Monroe said that, when you die, die empty. What did he mean? He means whatever you have that you need to give to the world, don't die with it. Die empty. All you see me doing is killing myself. So that when I'm called, I die empty. So I shall continue to give this content for free because it's not my content. I'm just a servant. I do not do this because, let me tell you something. I see Speak with Dilys as my ministry. It's something that I'm called to do, and it's something that I do. And there's a song that I absolutely love. I can't remember who sang it, but it goes, take the stage, Lord, and have your way. I'm just a vessel and nothing more. When you are done, Lord, please take the glory. I'm satisfied just to see you glorified. Take the stage, Lord, and have your way. I'm just a vessel and nothing more. When you are done, Lord, please take the glory. I'm satisfied just to see you glorified. Lord, I'm satisfied just to see you glorified. Thank you, Jesus. That is it. That's my job. So I don't sit here thinking how I'm going to be making money, though it would be nice. But that song epitomizes what I do here every Sunday. So it's important that each one of us takes on that responsibility to do that which we are called to do. Because each one of us has a responsibility. You see, when we say, are you your brother's keeper? You should be able to say yes. This is part of it. There is something in you that you possess that is supposed to help the next person. What are you doing? In fact, I'm actually ministering on Thursday morning. Those of you that are interested, I'll post a link. The ministry I belong to is called New Glory Ministry. We're based in Romford and we're online. And every Thursday online, I'm preaching. And this week, I'm preaching something similar to what I've just spoken about. So if you're interested, let me know and I will give you the link to that. So now I have to round up and hurry up. I'm going to my conclusion now. And what I would like to, let me just read a couple more comments just before I go into the conclusion. Oops, what have I done? Okay, right, Rahina Siddiqui, I don't recognize your name, so if you're new, thank you for joining. And Maminyako, Kofi Aprikwa Apia, thank you for being on here. Shalian also says, if a man doesn't identify the root problem, he'll not be able to, okay, I did read that. Nane free edupoku. Didn't I read that like a typical Ghanaian? Nane free edupoku, because I'm a queer free, so I know your name. This is the reason we have men who are emotionally absent in a relationship. Yes, it is. Marlene Bart, thank you for being on here. She said, true though. I said, bless you too. Shirley answers, Dilys, you are absolutely right. It's about helping the men. Yes. And it will also help us too. Mariama, is it Masire Fofana? Thank you for watching. Mariama says, using people's weakness against them. That's just disgusting. And we don't do that here. Hager Adu, thank you for being on here. Princess Goodness says, one of the reasons. Emmy Suave says, a lot of ladies use your weakness against you just to hurt you and talk you down. Well, real ladies don't do that. If you see any lady that does that, send her to me. I'll deal with her for you. Erica, you are a beautiful soul, sweetheart. God bless you. Thank you very much for that. And I believe you are too. Thank you. Michelle Gordon, thank you for being on here. Mariana Mariama says, especially in the African communities, especially my country people, you open up, they use it against you, pure ignorance. Absolutely. Listen, again, do not throw pearl before swine. That which is precious and valuable to you, be able to identify the pigs. Yes? Don't tell your secret to people who are not worthy of you confiding in them. Guys, please share this video. Anita E. Asama says, toxic treatment by male partners or fathers makes some women hate their children. So common in Ghana. Some women too tend to instigate sons against deadbeat fathers. Indeed, it is something that is very common. You know why it's what just dropped in my spirit? I believe why it's so prevalent in our communities is we have a real problem dealing with anything emotional. And because we are so superficial and so religious, it is very difficult for us to be able to show up by being real. So we can't find the voice to be able to say anything that's emotional and expect to get support and not ridicule, or to be silenced by using a religious phrase like it is well, or you must just forgive. That's our natural and automatic response when anybody comes to us with something emotional. And so because of that, people are not able to appropriately identify the right emotion. So for example, if I'm angry with somebody, the response is just forgive. No, I'm not walking in unforgiveness. I'm just pissed off at this person. I'm just a bit irritated or angry. But you are labeling my emotion as being an unforgiveness emotion. And because you have mislabeled it, you can't help me and I can't express myself properly. So what do? I suppress. And I suppress and suppress and suppress. And internally, I am raging. And that rage will manifest in how I interact and deal with people. That is why we have the problems that we have. Maybe it's another show that I will have to, do as well. Shirley says, I love your definition of love. Thank you. Georgina Aikens, thank you for being on here. Princess Goodness says, the metric for measuring love is how it makes you feel. Absolutely. If it don't feel good, it ain't love. Fatima Takale says, very important information. God bless you. B. Jibo says, relationship dissonance. Saying one thing and behavior showing something else. Rachel I, thanks for being on here. Gabu, how you doing? She says, it sure is. Shirley says she's already shared. Thank you very much. Natalie King, thank you for being on here. Avalabi says the person going through doesn't know. It's true, they don't know. Emotional process mapping. Princess Goodness, yes. It's very, 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 very powerful. Fatmata Kale, thank you. So thank you for sharing with us. Thank you too for being here. Kadiatu Samase Sise. Let ask una something. I know say some of you when they watch this show, na salon people. You know, so me let's man na salon bobo. Everybody else, excuse me, I'm speaking to my Sierra Leonean brothers and sisters. Yeah, you get me. Let ask una something. I don't know what happened last week. I get a whole influx of followers from salon. I don't know what happened. You know, so me not to salon titio. Me nagana come out. But I sabi out for talk the Creole good one. So if you're not possible come out in a salon, dear, give me props here because I feel say I don't deserve them. Give me props because I know say I did talk the Creole good one. Let una give me props. Thank you very much. Yes, I know say una they laugh, but you know say the two I they talk. Now true talk I they tell una. So just give me props for the and like give the salon people they watch me show and they give una big props. Make una share me videos them in honor of me late man. Like tell una thank you. Let God bless una. And I'm really grateful for all the boku follow when I don't give me na me Facebook face. I tell una thank you. Thank you. So for those of you that didn't understand, tough. I was just acknowledging the Sierra Leoneans in the house. I don't know what happened. I had about 50 Sierra Leonean followers from last week. I don't know what happened. I don't know who spoke about me in Sierra Leone. I don't know wagwan, but I'm very grateful. And, in honor of my late husband, who was Sierra Leonean, I say thank you very much and God bless you. Okay, so, and I did learn how to speak Creole, by the way. So, Faye says, how charitable you are. No, I'm not being charitable at all. I'm being obedient. There's a difference. There's a difference between being charitable and being obedient. This is my calling. When people call, do you not answer? Unless you are deaf. The only time you do not answer a call is when you didn't hear them calling you or there is something wrong with your hearing. I don't have spiritual wax in my ears. My hearing is impeccable. So when I was called to do this job, I answered. I am a servant. That is all I am. I'm just a vessel. So there you go. Okay, so Evelyn says, you are such a wonderful woman. Thank you so much, Evelyn. And you are a wonderful woman because you support me in everything I do. And I really am grateful. So God bless you. Fat Martin says, I love that song so much. Yeah, I love it as well. Denise, God bless you too, sis. Michelle says, but you can sing. A little bit. Marnie said, that's a lovely song, sung beautifully. God bless you. Thank you, everybody. Tina Menz, you share my stuff so much, and I really do appreciate it. I see what you do every week. I appreciate you. Abdul Rahman says, Dilisilla, I like jackets. You are a member of some royal guild. I am asking because of the emblem on the side. No, I am royalty because I belong to a royal priesthood, a holy generation. The answer to your question, this is a Ralph Lauren jacket. That's the emblem there. I went to church and quite frankly, I was so tired. We had a official opening of our church yesterday. I have had very little sleep from Friday. I got a phone call that the Home Office are doing a campaign called the Enough campaign. And it's raising awareness about violence against women by men. And I'm one of their spokespeople. So I had a couple of radio interviews on Friday, and then I went to church Friday evening. Saturday, we had the Thanksgiving service. Didn't finish till late. I slept at 3 o'clock this morning. I was up by early. Had to go to church, came back. I was able to sleep for about an hour, and I didn't manage to change. So that's why I didn't even bother to do my whole eyeshadow and try and look pretty for y'all. You have to just take me as I am. I'm tired to death. You understand? You understand? So Avalabi says, thank you for sharing your pain and glorification with us. Really appreciate you, my sister. I know you do, and I appreciate you too. And your missus. Thank you very much. Amadori says, emotionally healing. I truly love Sunday with all my interest, family and mentor. Oh, God bless you. Thank you so much. Jennifer Lemon Thomas, I love your name. Thank you for being on here. I know you're new because I really do. I'm rubbish with names, but I remember the unique ones. Nanaya and Tim, thank you for being on here. He says, wow, powerful. Sharing your secret in your difficult moments with someone you think is close could be disastrous. Very true. Wow, because in our culture, we don't use the process of catharsis. We don't. Venting our pain in emotions. Very, very true. Okay, guys, now, I love you all. Now, there is a Speak with Dilys group, which you guys are very quiet, so I'm even thinking of shutting the room because you don't say anything, but you need to. Thank you, Adra Prempe, for being on here. Shwana Wright Josephs, thank you as well. Ashanti Ams, your singer was beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm going to go to the conclusion now because I'm running over. I know I was late, so I am giving you back some time. So for our brothers, for the men whom I love and who do not have enough space to be able to be who you are and show your vulnerability, tonight I want to tell you that you are loved and you're appreciated, and above all, you are respected. I want you to understand that the fact that I understand means that there are others who understand. And for that reason, I want you to know that you are not alone. I want you to understand that if this day has come about for you to gain knowledge, to find out how you can heal from a freak of nature, you first need to know that it wasn't your fault. Every single child born of a woman deserves to be loved. Why it does not happen for everybody, I don't know. But I repeat, that is not your fault. And neither does it mean that you are not lovable just because you are not loved. Understand that your invalidation can be validated by yourself or God or both. But whatever the case may be, make a choice to want to be healed of your past. Because if you keep living life looking in this direction, and when you should be looking here, there is so much. Life is beautiful. Life is amazing. But you've got to want to live it. You've got to want to have the desire to win and to live. Because without that burning need to want to be better, to heal and to be free, you can't live that life. When my late husband died, it got to a point where I had to say, Dilys, do you want to live? Do you want to die? What's it going to be, girl? And I chose life. And because I chose life, look at me here. Fixed my hair, done a little bit of makeup, dressed half decent, feeling good. Do you know what it took? Hard work and the grace of God. That combination. But it started with my desire, wanting to live. My brothers, make the choice to want to live. Because when you make that choice, the journey of healing becomes that bit easier. It's like, how can I put it? Keeping fit. Someone dragging you to the gym and forcing you to go on that treadmill and forcing you to do that aerobics class and forcing you to do those weights is different from saying that, you know what? I want to get rid of this. There's a level of determination and tenacity that comes with that decision. Make the decision. Make the decision. Make the decision. Is it going to be painful? Yes. Is it going to hurt? It's going to hurt. Are you going to feel like a little boy again? Yeah, you will. Are you going to have to cry? Maybe. All you need is a safe space. All you need is a safe space. If your wife is not that safe space, I'm not saying your wife has to be. If your wife is not that safe space, come to me. I am a professional. Wives, I'm not coming to chase your husbands, oh. Don't worry about that. I'm a professional. Get some help. Speak to somebody that understands. Speak to somebody that can appreciate you and understand what you're going through. I want to recommend a book. I'm not the one that wrote it. It's a book by T.D. Jakes called He Motions. So emotions with an H. He Motions by T.D. Jakes. Go and buy that book. Ladies, buy this book for your boyfriends and your spouses. They need it. The first few pages, in fact, let me help you. Buy this book and tell your husband or your partner that you want to read the book with them and discuss it together. Find a day in the week where you can carve out that time and discuss it that way. Because sometimes for us women, these conversations are very difficult. Because sometimes you men are stubborn. Sometimes that's the damage that it has done to you. You're so stubborn, you're not teachable, you don't listen, you're difficult. You're hard work. So for that woman that's already tied herself to you, what it will require from you ladies is some wisdom. Get the book. Say, babe, I've got this book. I want us to do something together. What would you like me to do with you? And I commit to do it. And this would be, like they say, exchange is no robbery. And let's see how we both can be there for each other. Yeah? Get that book and thank me later. In fact, thank me by living your best life. Thank me by being healed. T.D. Jakes, Emotions. How much do you want to be free? I've asked that question already. Explore how you feel. For some of you men who are watching this, you know, thank you very much, Princess, for posting that. Thank you so much. Let me tell you something. Explore how you feel. Take a moment and go over your childhood. I had a conversation with somebody last week and I said to them, this is what I'm going to be talking about this week. And their response was, and I quote them verbatim, are you taking the piss? I said, no, I'm not taking the piss. This is what I'm going to be speaking about. Why? Because they had gone through exactly what I was speaking about and thought I was just joking. I'm like, no, I am going to really talk about this. I woke up, I think it was Tuesday morning, and I just felt this wave of sadness wash over me. And this was the topic that came to me. So I felt a little bit emotionally, connected to that feeling. So that's one of the reasons why we're doing this. So I've spoken about emotional process mapping of past relationships. I also spoke, or maybe I didn't, I said mother and son relationships can be a source of violence against women. Women, if you're with a man that's violent, check his relationship with his mother. If you're in a violent relationship, you need to get out. If you're in a violent relationship, that is not where you apply what I've been teaching. If you're in a violent relationship, you need to find the door and you need to ask yourself why you are in a violent relationship. Okay? So this is what you need to do. We looked about the process of healing. I think I've given advice to women. And the last word is the F word. That's not what you're thinking. Forgiveness. Let me tell you something. It is not something that a lot of people like me to mention. But like I said, If there's something that I know is the truth for you, that will help you, I will give it to you. Forgiveness. You cannot walk the healing journey without forgiveness. Forgiveness does not mean what happened to you was not important or that it was okay. But if you do not learn to release, you can only go so far in your journey. You can only go so far. What you've gone through is trauma. Trauma, I've explained this many times on my show, even in one of my books. Trauma is not supposed to settle. It is like water. It is supposed to flow out. Water, when it remains, becomes a swamp. It becomes stagnant. It stinks and it breeds disease. That is symbolic of unforgiveness in your body. Does it breed disease? Literally, it does. Mental health, drug addiction, bad relationships, it's all there. That is how it manifests. So it is imperative, it is crucial that upon all that we've heard, that you are able to come to a place of forgiveness. I will be writing a book on forgiveness. So look out for that. What are we in? We're in March. Maybe it might be a birthday present to myself. Who knows? Actually, yeah, that might be something I'll give to myself or give to you for my birthday. I will give you a present for my birthday. Maybe if I say it like that, I'll commit to it. But yeah, I will, because I think it's important. If you guys understood the power of forgiveness, and I think I've explained this before, that this is something that doctors will not teach you. A doctor cannot say to you that you're suffering from that ulcer because of unforgiveness. They can't tell you that. But if you go to any medical professional and you say to them, having negative emotions of unforgiveness, what does it do in terms of releasing toxins in my body? And what does it do to my well-being? They will tell you something scientific that will support, once again, what I'm telling you. Guys, on that note, I've got to go. Time is well spent. It was so important, I didn't want to cut it short. Next week, we'll be talking about mothers who hate their daughters. We're going to be going there. Guys, I hope this broadcast has been helpful to you. And I really do pray in the name of Jesus. Father God, I just thank you so much for this evening. I pray, Father God, for my brothers. I pray, Father God, for healing for them. I pray that when they watch this, as this will be a process, Father God, to be the beginning of the end of their pain. I pray that you will send sensitive, sensible, spiritual people into their lives to help them on that journey so that they can arrive at a place of rest. Father, I thank you for using me this evening. I pray that, Father God, as I've been a blessing to these people, that they're even more of a blessing to me. I thank you, Father God, for this show, and I thank you for what you're doing in Jesus' name. I pray, Father God, I commit each and every person. I commit their week into your hand, and I pray that, Lord, that this will be a week of joy. It will be a week of peace. It will be a week of excellence for them and for everybody that will be watching this replay. In Jesus' name, amen. God bless you guys. Don't forget, you can now go onto my website. Finally, it's been updated. I've got a good landing page on there now. So www.dilyssilla.com. It's just my boring little name. So please go on there. Go onto my page and do buy your ticket for the Speak with Dilys launch. I will tell you what the topic will be for the night, on the night. Tickets are $49.99 for VIP, where you have a glass of bubbly on arrival. You will have some lovely canapes, premium seating, a little networking, little party going on for an hour before the main event, a little, private party. The regular tickets are $19.99. Guys, I need to see you there on the night. Don't just be on here up on the live. Let me see you live and direct at the Leonardo Royal Hotel in London. You can buy your tickets on www.dilyssilla.com. I am looking for sponsors of this event. It is not too late. If you are interested in sponsoring, because what I've done is I've broken down different things that we need, like people's t-shirts on the night. I've broken down, because this is actually a platform that I'm moving onto TV and other digital channels. That is why I need the sponsorship and selling of the tickets and all of that stuff, so that this can reach a wider audience. This is about healing our communities, guys. I need your support. Please give it. God bless you all. Have a lovely week. And I will see you next week. Be good. Bye-bye, people.